Hey everybody. Today's meditation and exploration is going to be how to relax out of overwhelm. In my experience, overwhelm happens when thinking speeds up. And so thoughts start hooking together in a train of thought and creates a story, a fearful story. And the way we're paying attention to the story is very narrowly focused. Boom. And it will feel like something's really wrong in in the felt sense. And when thinking speeds up and when there's contraction in the felt sense, what happens is our ability to see that no harm is happening, that lens of attention that's wide open when we're feeling good, it snaps shut and it places itself in a position, just like a camera lens, goes from open, and it narrow focuses on the speeding thought and the contractions in the body. And it's my experience when those stories, that fearful storyline, when we're narrowly focused upon it, it seems really real. And so it's like the movie of now is narrowed down to that little imagined movie, that fearful movie, and the body responds to whatever movie we're watching. And so attention likes to narrow onto speed, narrow onto movement. So here the nervous system is going, and the thoughts are going, and that lens that can see there's no harm in this moment. There's nothing, there's nothing that's going to get us in this moment. And the future's not here. And the past isn't here. Only this moment is here. But we lose our ability to recognize that because of the lens of attention. So today is specifically designed to deal with overwhelm. So just sit back and get in a comfortable position. You can lie down, you can sit up, like there's nothing required in this practice of relaxing attention, nothing. So let your body be how your body's going to be. Let your mind do what your mind is doing. And we're just going to see what happens when we relax attention. Let's bring our attention to something that's always here. And that's what we're going to anchor in again and again. And the first thing that comes to mind in my experience in this moment is the breath. Without changing the breath, just notice where in the body it is. Is it deep? Is it shallow? And notice what you had to do in order to notice the breath. Didn't some of the attention have to move off of what it was narrowly focusing on a moment ago and share it with something else that's here in real time, in the present moment? And have you ever noticed the breath is always here, present, no matter if we notice it or not? There's so many things like that, things that are present, constant, that we forget when everything is speeded up and we're living in a future of fearful thinking that's not actually happening in this moment. So let's just watch the breath. You don't have to do anything with anything else. You just notice the breathing. No changing it. So there's one anchor. Because if you notice, the breath doesn't happen in the future. The breath doesn't happen in the past. The breath only happens now. And what else is here that's reliable, that's stable, that's present? Is it possible now to relax the way that you're looking until you see this moment as one image? I noticed a deeper breath. And I noticed in order to see the whole moment, that lens of attention had to relax, just like a camera lens, opening to see what's actually here. And then resting attention at the periphery of the moment. Notice even the parts of the body that you can see are part of the moment visually. And just look around. Keep the lens open and just look. And see if you can find anything that is the cause in this moment of the contracted feelings that may be being experienced. Can you find a threat or anything dangerous that would merit what's coming up in sensation? What's coming up in thinking? Can you find a future when you really look in the moment? Can you find the past anywhere but in thinking? Really take your time and look. Notice what's actually happening now. The breath, the visual moment. There's no cause for fear. In my experience, 99% of the time that I become present and look at what's actually happening, is there anything dangerous or actually threatening in this moment? So seeing that there's no threat, is it possible to see that the feelings of overwhelm or negative emotions weren't actually caused by anything that's happening now? Ah, so nothing in the actual moment is causing contractions. So can you see that it must be thoughts or thinking, the story playing, that are causing any fearful contractions? So the reaction is caused by thinking. And it's not a bad thing, it just happens, this thinking. But can you see that it's not happening now? That is such a big part of calming and coming down out of a dysregulated state. Oh, safety. Oh, it's here. Safety's not in the future. It's here now. And you can actually see. But you can only see that when the attention relaxes. And yes, there may be the sound of the voices of thought happening. But what if we don't narrowly focus on those voices of the imagination? Those voices that are causing contractions in the body and making it feel scared. And what if we ask ourselves, what other sounds are here? Let's look for any threat in what we can hear outside of the voices of thinking. Can you hear the sound of this voice as well? Feel the tone of it. See, this is a voice that's vivid and actually happening, as opposed to what's imagined, which is happening in the moment, but it's of a different quality, more ghost like, because it's imagined rather than vivid, like this voice. And can you hear that in between the sentences spoken from this voice, there is a silence? And then what other sounds are here in this moment appearing in the silence? Can you feel how quiet the moment is when you look around wide, when you listen wide? Do you see how you can hear the silence when the lens of attention, the way that you're listening relaxes, the way that you're looking relaxes? Even the sound of thought, that ghost-like sound, what happens when you listen to the whole moment? When you hear the silence that the sounds are coming out of and disappearing back into. Even the sound of the breath, part of the soundscape in this now moment. And did you notice that the lens that you were listening out of had to relax? And how effortless relaxing the lens that you're listening out of is. What sounds are happening in the silence of now? And what is it like to listen wide open? What happens to the speed of thinking when you let the voice of thought be a sound, just like the sound of this voice? What happens to the sensations of contraction? What happens to the breath? And just like we investigated if there was danger or any threat in the visual field, I want you to listen. If there's any danger in a sound of a voice, even the sound of a thought, it arises and disappears so fast. Does it harm anything really, or does it just create a contraction? What if it just creates a contraction because it's not true? What if the contraction happens because of the tone of the thinking? Because of the fearful nature of the thinking? But look, there's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be overwhelmed by in this moment. Just check it out. Is there any sounds that are dangerous? You see the safety of the present moment. And is it possible to let these contracted sensations that were generated by fearful thinking, can you let both that thought pattern and the contraction be held in the safety of the breath, of the silent landscape of sound? Of the visual moment? And what if those thoughts could just register as sound, a sound in the moment, unhooking from the sensation? And can we invite these sensations to unwind? We know they were based in the past and the future that's imagined. But what if we let the sensations be in the safety of this moment and not just in the body? What if we just invite any contraction, any sensation that was ever caused by telling ourselves something that wasn't true, that there's something to worry about in the future. There's something to be afraid of in a past that's already gone. You see, safety's only now. So, what if this stored up contraction that happened every time we worried, every time we thought something negative about ourselves or someone else, every time we attacked someone in our thoughts, attacked our own bodies? What if that stored up contraction could finally be allowed to unwind in the safety of this moment? Saying, come on, it's okay. I'll feel you. Come on, I'll feel you. I know you were made from fear-based thoughts. But there's nothing to be afraid of in this moment. And you can be free. You can be felt. Nothing to run from. What if these sensations could move past the skin line and be as free as the sounds? What if the energy that the contractions are made of could just finally let go in the safety of the breath, in the safety of what you see, what's actually here, not the past, not the future. Look at the well-being that's here. Just look, listen. There's so much more in every moment than we could imagine when we open the lens of attention. When we unhook it from fearful thinking and the contractions that ensue from that link. Wide open, wide open. No harm, no harm. These feelings, all from the past, being brought to the now. This fear, this overwhelm being offered here, here moment, here moment of safety and beauty and rest and silence. I can't manage this. I'm tired of pushing sensations away, fighting with thinking, fighting with sensation. Here, moment, here, life. Surrender. These fearful thoughts, these contracted sensations. I'm willing to let both be held by the safety of now, by everything that is seen, by everything that is heard, by the silence that is always here and always present, by the breath. And if attention narrows, look how effortless, look how easy it is just to look up and see what's here, see the whole picture, just to listen wide and hear the whole landscape. And then to let these thoughts and feelings unwind, come unstuck from each other in the safety of now.